You guys probably know this player by now, but if not, let me introduce him. And now I'm playing against Kimo. Oh no. Oh dear, not this. We're going up against Kimo. No. I didn't want to play versus Kimo. I wanted to play versus someone who isn't an absolute legendary gamer, way better than me. He plays quite a bit of AoM and is quite good at it too, I might add. I also play a fair amount of AoM myself, so I run into him a lot. That player is currently ranked number 3 on the tournament circuit and goes by the name of Kimo. The thing is, when I play versus someone who is really good at the game, I sort of get in my own head. I know I need to play a really good game and that they kind of need to screw up a bit for me to find wins. And to be honest, I do love to win. But I hate to lose even more. And there is a difference. Shout out to Moneyball there for that one. Generally, that difference is inward rather than outward. And when I play versus Kimo, I get the feeling that I can always be better. I have here several games that I felt like I played really well in, got an advantage of sorts, and then I made a critical error which threw the game into turmoil. I'm going to walk through my thought process and try to figure out where I can be better and hopefully teach you guys something in the process. Let's go. Alright, so for our first game today, I'm going to be playing Set versus Kimo's Guy here. This is a matchup that I do think is very, very winnable from both sides. I think it's a very skill matchup. I think there's a lot of decision making that needs to go in for this one to have, for you to have some success here. Kimo, obviously, we've talked about him already, but very, very strong. And I actually see the matchup, and I'm actually fairly confident in my abilities here. I know Kimo can play Atlantean very strong, but of all the gods that I can play, I feel like Set is my best. To be straight up and down about it, like if I get Set, I feel like I can probably play with anyone and at least get a win every now and then, right? But on Anatolia, I'm still learning this map. I'm still trying to figure out what the best way to play is, where all the timings are, what you're supposed to get done, what you're not allowed to do, what you can get away with, what you can't. Where do you put your dock? All these things are questions that, I still don't really have the answers to. I've got a lot of legacy bias that I need to work through, so to speak, with regards to playing Anatolia on Legacy. I really worked to having kind of a flowchart of sorts, which sort of allowed me to answer pretty much anything my opponents threw at me. That was very, very rare that I got into a situation where I lost from a strategic standpoint. And at the moment, I feel like strategically, I am really far behind the 8-ball. Now, just like in Legacy, I believe that the only real way to play this map is to get out 18 fish. I still don't feel like you can get away with doing much else. There's maybe some builds where going for 9 fish, continuing to build fishing ships and putting pressure onto your opponent makes some sense. But yeah, for Egyptians, for Gaia, I think it's pretty much just get 6 docks down and get your 18 fish. So from that standpoint, that's what we're going for here. My build here is very, very simple. I put my first 2 villages onto wood. I then put 4 villages onto food. I then put 3 villages onto gold. And then I put a ton onto wood. And this is going to allow me to get the docks up, get the fishing ships out, make sure that I claim my side of the water. And yeah, so the big question is, like, how hard do I fight on water? I don't particularly want to fight on water, to be honest, against Gaia. If I choose to fight this, I feel like I'm going to be losing. So at most, I just want to defend. The question of whether I go for Anubis or for Ptah here is very, very real. Anubis doesn't really give me much in the shape of dealing with what Gaia is strong at. Like, and the Contarius, obviously you get Anubis Spear, so that can be nice, but Plague of Serpents doesn't really help me on the land. Anubites don't really help me versus the Caladria. And what else do you get? I guess Necropolis is always pretty good, but I think Da just makes a lot more sense when I'm thinking about it. I can't really remember what god I picked in this game, but I think on the surface, my gut feeling, just playing the matchup without thinking too much, I feel like I would pick Anubis here just before, because I'm like, well, Plague of Serpents means I'm not going to lose water. Right? I can, if my opponent wants to go hard on water, I can just put snakes down. It's fine. But on a more deep think, probably Dart's better. Shifting Sands is really good. Wadgets are really good. And I might be able to catch my opponent out doing something with those two God Powers. Nonetheless, build order wise, a little bit behind the 8 ball. Would love to be advancing here. Not exactly sure. I mean, my temple's up. I just have to garrison fishing ships. 5:15. Yeah, okay. So it's actually a completely fine advance. I've had a little bit of idle time, but not the biggest of deals. Nothing that's going to make me lose a game. And I'll have all my docks down. So realistically here, I don't... On this map, I really don't care. If you get a 5-minute advance time and you get all your fishing ships out, good for you. It's not going to win you the game. This game is about, or Anatolia is about, yeah, as I say, strategic decision making. Do I advance? Do I build units? And all the stuff that goes on there. Now, I see him going over this side. I see a villager on this thing. I'm trying to kill this villager here. This was kind of, I think this was kind of funny because I got this priest on the front here, and he doesn't do any damage, but he does heal. I do not need to do much here. I can just heal up my villager, and it's fine, running away and getting back up to full HP, and then we're gonna be okay. But he's definitely gonna be having a Caladria coming in at some point. I managed to get the citizen kill. Absolutely huge, and I ended up going Anubis, which, again, I think this is probably a mistake. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about why I think Anubis is a mistake. I think that Spearmen in this matchup are really, really important, but I don't think damage is important. I think survivability against archers is actually the most important thing. Survivability against archers, and here we go. I'm going to get owned by Caladria here. Trying to micro this is going to be very, very challenging. Too much going on the map here, and this is kind of where the first part of where I go. I was playing well, and then I kind of make some mistakes here. I really need to kill that Caladria, and like happens always, it's very, very frustrating for me personally. Killing a Caladria is nigh impossible against a player of Kemo's level. These guys, they're always watching, and yeah, it can be really, really challenging. Nonetheless, I see him going for a couple of ships. I'm just going to click my snakes. I'm not looking to win the water. I know I can't. If I try too hard, it's probably going to be a L for me. I need to get to the heroic age. And I make another mistake here, strategically speaking. Nephthys, as much as it helps against the Dryads, it doesn't matter. Like, getting out Nebty, like, I'm not going to be able to kill off the Dryads and win the game with just priests anyways. So making a ton of priests is not going to help me. I will need some priests to deal with the Dryads, but again, another reason to go for Da here is making Wadgets to deal with the Dryad army. If I get a bunch of Wadgets out, that's going to be a real nice counter to those Dryads. And realistically, I need Sekhmet for a faster Mythic Age, or economic help in this game, or even better yet, controlling the center. If I can get a town center down in the center of the map, Citadel on that, then I'm going to be able to hold there. So two kind of strategic mistakes here in this game that I would love to try it from going a different way, going Tar, going Sekhmet, and seeing how it all goes. But that being said, I do have a lot of the water here controlled. I've made it to the heroic age. Another mistake here is I don't have my second and third monument up. Both of those are really important. I got the resources for them both now. Plus I got the resources to drop myself a Migdol here. No reason to not have the two monuments down. I drop Ancestors into my opponent's base, and you know, like, I'm seeing what he's doing here. So this is an advantage to some degree. I'm making him idle his economy. I'm pushing him around a little bit with the minions, picking off a villager or two. Obviously finding some advantages here. I don't think this is as important as Citadel. Also, a potential Scarab push is on the cards, and I don't think that this is as important as having both of my upgrades or my relics here. Now, I see him building Contarius, and here is my next strategic mistake. I say, let me just throw down 2 Migdols, and then go to the next age, get Crenellations, and I'll be fine, because I'm going to be in the Mythic Age. Yeah. I should probably stay in the Heroic Age here. Seeing what he's doing, throw down 3 barracks, make myself Spearman, make myself Chariot Archer, with obviously going through Segment as well. Spearman Chariot Archer here with Leather Frame Shield, the Chariot Archers coming out of the Migdols. Be very, very difficult for him to break this, and then I'm going to be able to control the center, and we're going to be in for a good spot. Now, one thing here that is happening is my Serpents, they're actually helping me kill off his Myth unit on the water, which isn't a small thing. But that being said, I can probably just build myself out a Leviathan with that extra monument, and I'm going to be fine there. So yeah, I just don't think I need the Serpents. Is the big story here. So he's going to come in and hit me on this side, and I'm looking at this going, I've just clicked up to the Mythic Age. My villagers have to go idle here. This is going to be a lot of damage that I'm going to suffer. Now, maybe I can hold here by dropping my Meteor on myself. Maybe. Probably. Strategic mistake number 15 billion in this game. But I'm actually in a decent position right now, right? Like at this exact point, even with what I think I made mistakes going in Nubus, I made a mistake going at Nephthys, made a mistake going to the Mythic Age, I actually still think I'm okay here if I play this next situation well. If I'm going to lose both my Migdols, this isn't good at all, and I'm going to start getting gold starved to some degree. So I'm in, this is where chaos starts, and trying to focus as much as I can, trying to get some villager kills, trying to get some damage back onto him. He's making Contarius, so I make Camel Riders. Makes some sense to me at this point, especially with me going to the Mythic Age and wanting to get myself Valley of the Kings. With all these Migdols that I need to throw down, I've also not got the favor. I don't have that 3rd monument. And I'm like, what am I doing here? I got all the resources in the world. If I had like 3 barracks down, already had my medium spearman up, I probably would have had the spearman in to defend that middle position. And you can see it really doesn't have that many units here. So I would say this is somewhat peak stupidity from me. Did not read the situation correctly, did not react correctly, and am now in a very, very difficult position. Now, I will have Mythic Age on him, so I do have an opportunity here to make somewhat of a comeback. But I need to play this next situation near perfectly, which we'll try and get a Meteor down if I can kill off a whole bunch of citizens there and the town center. That'll be nice. I'm also going to be trying to get damage elsewhere. I've got a Phoenix that I can probably use. And we basically just have to raid ourselves back into the game here, as is the idea. Now, on this other side, I've got myself the War Turtle and I've got myself the Leviathan. So I should be able to push forward and sort of win the bottom side of the water while this is all going on. So that's going to be a lot of help. But I'm on a timer here at the moment. Like, he's going to probably be able to start getting out Catapulties. And once the Catapulties come, I mean, at this point, I'm so committed into Migdol units that I can't really get out the Axeman. He also gets a town center up there, even though I'm on it with this Camel Riders, which is, again, me being a little slow there. If I was a bit faster, maybe I could have denied that one, but alas, it did not happen. Heavy Camel Riders versus Contarius is a good trade for me. I imagine he will definitely be on the Catapulty grind very, very shortly. But just trying to find citizen kills or oracle kills or anything to slow him down is the idea. Another thing that I think I'm kind of forgetting here is economic upgrades. I'm in the Mythic Age. If I can get myself an immediate quarry my economy is going to look very, very nice. I still don't have Valley of the Kings. It's like, this obviously I had to build 2 more Migdols here in my main base. And, you know, if I want to do this strategy again, I will never build in the center of the map going for a fast mythic. I'll just build in my main base. But, yeah, Valley of the King's not in. Still 2 monuments. I don't have any protection on my 4 gold mine here with no Migdols there. So it's kind of hurting. And I didn't send my units forward here to try and destroy his base with the war turtles. War turtle is really, really strong, by the way. Like, if you guys aren't aware, war turtle is, I think it's actually a bit of a counter to some Skylar shenanigans. So if you can get out a bunch of those, you can actually have a good game against the Greek players. They do have the Karkanos, which I don't think is very good. But yeah, the Skylers are the big problem here for most players. If you get to the Mythic Age with Egyptians nice and quick, you will be able to defend against all those Skylar. So long as you garrison your fishing ships in advance or whatever. You can see he's going to go for the Nereid. You want to focus that down. If your opponent doesn't micro it, you will kill it. If they do micro it, then they'll run away and you're going to lose. The Nereid's also really strong at killing off the myth units with micro, but not very good if you don't micro it. And I guess from here, again, still just trying to go for raids. I'm actually feeling like I'm controlling these raids pretty well here, but I think I overcommit a little bit on that spot. And I need to get myself town centers and some nice positions. I get myself champion camel riders here, and I'm sort of caught out on the back end. This is where I would say my biggest mistake of this game is from not like a strategic standpoint, but more like a decision-making standpoint. I should not have taken that fight there. I should have just kept running around, causing problems everywhere. Like, there's no need to fight at this point. Just get sorted on the map. And I'll be okay here. So even after all the mistakes, I'm still like, even after all the like strategic mistakes, this is still a decision-making mistake that has kind of sent me into the max amount of turmoil. And now see he's going catapulties. And I mean, there's a world where if I control my units correctly, I can win with full barracks units. But realistically speaking, you really need, Migdol units? You really need barracks units to deal with the catapulties. They are very, very strong. So, yes. Okay. But we do get ourselves another Migdol on another gold mine. So securing all of those. I'm at full population. And this is where you have to effectively force fights or good fights so that you can continue to get value out of Valley of the Kings. This is the whole reason I'm kind of in an okay spot here. I'm going to drop a town center. Maybe armory upgrades would have been better here rather than the town center. Maybe. I'm going to try and kill off his town center here with my camel riders. He's sort of out of position. I'm just trying to distract him. And I do manage to do so by doing this. Like, I'm going to attack and grab a town center is, or attack and expand is always a very, very strong tactic. And it looks like I managed to kill the town center here. But again, look at this army here that he's got versus mine. And I just can't fight this army at all. I have to delete my siege works as well. My camel riders are going to get, I think they'll sneak out here. But I can't fight the army at all. And he does very smartly see my town center going up. So, unfortunately, we don't get away with that one. I need to send my camel riders all the way over to the other side of the map. And there's not enough Migdols here for me to hold here. And as soon as the catapulties get onto my army, it's sort of lights out. I need a front line of axemen. And this is another reason why I need Da. Da has scalloped axe, which is something that, you know, the Anubis doesn't really help with. Maybe I could go for full spearmen here and they'd be able to tank and allow my chariot archers to carry me through. Maybe. But, you know, scalloped axemen, they're going to not be terrible against those Contarius. They get a huge bonus of damage, 15% or something. And yeah, they're pretty good. And then you go back to this other thing of Why did I go Thoth? I went Thoth for timing and trying to hold the middle, but against Gaia, I don't think that's the way to go. Probably should have gone Horus. So you can see how after I play this matchup one time, I go, wow, I just made all the incorrect decisions here in this game. Should have been Thar, should have been Sekhmet, should have been Horus against Gaia, should have been... And the reasons are that, you know, I don't need a timing attack. I need to hold in the heroic age. I need to get a nice mythic age through Horus. And I need to get myself access to the Axe of Vengeance, the Spear, the Spear of Horus, or Horus Spear, and Scaled Axe. So that's the one unit. The Chariot Archers are correct as well. And I probably don't want to go for Camel Riders at all. I want to go for Spearmen. So Spearman, Chariot Archer, Axeman is actually the best comp here against Atlantean. So I should be playing into that rather than trying to do other stuff. So yeah, after all is said and done, you know, I'm in a lot of pain here. I think I got my town center up, but I'm at 53 villages. He's probably looking at closer to 100 citizens at the moment. Yes, I've got all of the fishing ships killed on his side of the map, but I didn't take that fish for myself, so that's not being counted into my advantage here, and I'm falling further and further behind. And I think my economic upgrades are also not there. So all of this chaos and turmoil, this is what Kimo does so well. This is why it's so hard for you to kill him or beat him. He's always just getting the upgrades he needs, applying pressure where he needs to, and defending when he needs to correctly. Like, he makes a lot of very, very sound decisions. And I'm going to lose this front base here. Still trying to fight on. Remember, every time I lose a unit, I'm getting huge value out of Valley of the Kings, but you know, it's not it. You can see that I'm actually kind of trading not terribly here with all the Chariot Archers. So in a way, if I just go full Chariot Archers here with a small front line of Spearmen, it's probably a better idea than the Camel Riders as well. But if I didn't go Camel Riders, I wouldn't have got economic damage done. So it's a tough one. I mean, I don't know. In terms of this strategy here, there's definitely ways in which I could have played this and probably come out on top. So definitely worth trying that again in the future, like staying in my main base with the Migdols, just mining out all my stuff, and then moving out with all the Camel Riders, or basically reacting to what he's building and building the right unit there. Or just going for something a little bit more sound, making those heavy spearmen in the heroic age against the Contarius that he was building, spotting that out, and then, you know, getting Horus when I can. But yeah, Kimo, his economy is too big right now. He's got all the units in the world, and he will be hitting Mythic Age relatively soon. He's probably got 3 town centers, and he's probably got a whole bunch of army upgrades and economic upgrades that I don't have. So this game does end up being a loss. I did feel like I was in a good spot. Like, I think even just given like the first early game before everything goes down, I was probably in a position to win this game, given I just sat in my base with the Migdols rather than moving out. Like, you can see how good these Chariot Archers are actually against the Catapulties as well. So it even makes more and more sense of me saying, you know, go Sekhmet, get the extra range on them, and call it a day, right? But yeah, we're pushed off gold, and we're down to 40-something villages. So even with full population here and being able to kick off all these units, I know that his army's just going to get repopulated, and it's just not gonna work out for me in this one. But a GG nonetheless. Let's move on to the next game. All right, so the next game in this series of games against Kimo, I played a Set versus Poseidon game. Now, again, I got Set. I am playing random. We play a lot of games. I lose a lot of games with some of the civs that I don't feel like I'm very good with. And this is more about a series of where I feel like I have an advantage, and then things get funky, so to speak. So I want to show how that sort of happens, and how you can sort of deal with it, or try and make it not happen again. So Set versus Poseidon here. My plan in this one is to play for a fast second town center. I genuinely don't feel like it's possible to deny a good build order from a Set player getting a second town center. Even if you go for like a 3-minute 30 advance, I will send 10 villagers onto a town center with a priest or 2 and a pharaoh, and you're not going to be able to deny it. So even with like a ridiculously fast advance time, I think that it's completely fine to do this strategy. And even on top of that, I know Kimo, he doesn't like those crazy fast advances at all. He'll go for a later advance most of the time anyway, so I can kind of metagame him a little bit. But yeah, so the advantage I have here in this matchup is effectively that I can make barracks units, which spearmen specifically, which are really good against his Hippias, which is his bonus playing against Poseidon. He's got the centaur, however, which is very challenging to get through. So I need to just understand in this, the big thing to understand in this is that my spearmen cost a lot less than his centaur. So me losing units through this game does not matter that much. I just need to make sure I don't lose too many, right? But I need to make sure when I'm taking trades, I need to be okay with him taking what feels like bad trades. As long as I'm getting chip damage done onto the centaur over time, I'm going to be able to deal with those. Now, another unit that is going to be really, really helpful here for me to deal with the centaur is going to be the Wadjet. Now, the Wadjet is very, very easily countered by Atalanta, which she's got access to. So I've got to be aware of that and make sure that when the Atalanta comes, I pull my spearmen to try and block said hero from getting onto my Wadjets. Now, if my Wadjets are there, they can take out Centaur, and it's going to be great. If they're not there, then the Centaur are going to have a lot of value. So Centaur versus Wadjet, Spearman versus Hippias should be somewhat of a good strategic decision from me, and it could work both ways based on micro and all the good stuff that comes from that. And you might ask, why would he go Hippias if I'm going for Spearman? And the actual answer is that he wants me to go Spearman so that he can get value out of his centaur. So he is effectively saying, my Hippias are there for potentially if you go into something else, like a whole bunch of chariot archers. And he's saying, I'm going to get enough centaur out that your Spearmen aren't going to do much. That's it. If you guys want to know this build order, I would basically just go back and write down what I did in this one. I feel like this was fairly well executed. Effectively, I get 6 wood from my villagers, put the granary down, 5 villagers to food, 2 villagers to gold, 2 villagers to food, the rest onto gold, and then I advance at 4 minutes. 3 villagers build the temple. I get the monument up with the pharaoh as well. Doesn't miss out on any sort of empowerment with that. And we're good to go. You can see I got an extra priest out here as well, and I'm gonna have myself what? The gold here to go up, and I'm going to bring the villagers over. So basically a elephant and everything else should be enough. I've got a priest over here that I can bring forward. I am aware that he may decide to send a centaur into my main base here and try and deal with my villagers over here. So I've just got my units sort of spread out such that I can defend against everything. I see his centaur coming in, so I just want to make sure I kill that. And like I said, I genuinely feel like this build that I've done here is very, very challenging for Poseidon to really punish. Especially because I've got an elephant that I can eat straight away, or hunt that I can eat straight away. I've got my priest in. Maybe, you know, if there's an Atalanta here, it becomes a micro battle. Maybe he picks off a villager, but if he picks off a villager, I don't really mind because he's delaying his own town center. So yeah, I see he's accidentally sends a villager forward at the moment. That's a bit unfortunate for him, but it's good for me. And I'm going to start thinking about building barracks and making some spearmen here. There is a world where just going for a fast heroic at this point is not a terrible idea. But yeah, I'm fairly certain he's just going to be going for a town center. So I want to apply some pressure. And one thing that I really, really hate dealing with is when Greek players get out on the map super early while you're teching as the Egyptian player and get walls up. So part of this strategy is for me to deny that. So I'm going to get out on the map. I've also got vision here. So, I mean, I should probably go back and identify exactly what I saw there. But I saw a mining camp on the right-hand corner. So I see that that's going to be raidable. I see the food is both forward. There's the gold mine there. I'm not going to be able to raid the gold mine. I can raid the wood. So luckily I showed that actually in game there. But yeah, I saw all of that with the vision. And now I know exactly what I'm going to be looking for to attack. My macro at this moment, 11 on gold. Seems like a lot. It is, but I will be needing priests. I know that I'm going to be needing priests here. That's why there's that gold coming in, and I will be building those after I've got all of my my stuff up. Or at the very least, I'll be making a whole bunch of budgets here. So we're off now with a couple of spearmen. I'm going to be looking for villager kills, and I'm going to be looking to put obelisks down across the map so I can scout out if he is going to be getting sneaky walls up. Unfortunately, I don't have any of these down just yet. It is very, very risky to do this, but I feel like I must. And one other thing here for those of you playing at home is box formation. If you're going to go for raids with one type of unit, I recommend box formation. It is really, really good. You can obviously get into the place much easier. The surface area on the front of your units is sort of like less bumping, so they're going to be able to like get their DPS started earlier. And we're ready to try and attack him on this position. So we managed to sneak in around the back, and you can see I've got a little bit of a snipe there. I get 2 villagers with 4 spearmen. That's actually kind of huge. He sees what I've got there now, and I'm sure he's going to come back. And I'm just going to try and hide my spearmen in that corner and continue to hit that position. Maybe he's going to forget is the idea. And one thing here that I really... Okay, there he goes. I'm okay with taking this fight against the Hippias here. Any sort of good trades, any sort of trade here that's half decent I want to take. And I see that his units are here as well, so I can push in onto this spot and take another fight. I've got to make sure I stay away from the centaur, though. That's a big problem. And so at this point, right, this is all about getting an advantage and seeing what you can do with it. I killed 2 villagers. I lost 1 spearman on the retreat out. And now I'm ready to take another fight. So I'm going to build on this advantage. This is a really big advantage here. I don't particularly mind losing my Wadget here, but I really should have just brought all of my spears onto the Atalanta at that point. A good micro retreat from him. And I've got a lot of favor in the bank here to make the Wadgets out, and lots of villagers on wood to do so as well. So it's going to be effectively Wadget, Spearman, Priest, moving forward. And you can see that I'm building them now. I also got a lot of damage onto the Atalanta in that fight. Actually, killing the Atlanta from that first fight would probably be bad, because he's just going to get it back full HP when I've got 3 or 4 of those Wadgets out. So having it a little bit damaged is maybe not a terrible idea. But I'm still looking for the raids here. The best place to raid still is going to be on that wood line. But we'll see if I can get in here and find something. Again, he's a little bit late on this, and I got a huge amount of villagers trapped, forcing out a ceasefire. This is gigantic for me. Ceasefire off the cards means I can get off a tornado and get a huge amount of value. I can get off an ancestors. Though, I mean, I don't really rate going... Actually, you know what? Ancestors isn't terrible here. But I think the more I play Retold, the more I'm realizing, or the more I play Egyptian, the more I'm realizing how good Sekhmet really is. As we can take a little fight here, pick off a couple of units. He's scared of my stuff like he should be, and I just need to effectively make sure that if he wants to take a fight, I'm going to be able to kill off those centaur, and he's going to be in Struggle Town. Now, I'm probably overcommitting here a little bit. Actually, I'm very much overcommitting here. This is one of my fundamentals to some degree. Don't overchase unless you really know what's happening, as the Atalanta is in. But still focusing down those centaur, getting the damage done. I guess I don't really mind, to be honest, if I lose the Wadgets. I probably should have another monument up at this point. But you know, if I lose the wedge, it's not the biggest problem at this moment. But now we're advancing. Tons of villages on gold because I'm going to have to build a Migdol, town centers, everything else. Still trying to get those obelisks up. Farms need to come down. I pre-queue all my economic upgrades, so I finally did something correct in terms of this against Kimo. I always forget this because normally I'm in turmoil already against Kimo, but in this game I've managed to make that happen. And yeah, we're in a really, really good spot. So how do I improve on this? I've already improved on this by getting to the heroic age way before he's going to be able to. I see I've got an option to raid the top gold mine because I know he's going to be there. And that back wood line again. So I try and get this split. He's got some walls here. So what I want to do mostly here, it looks like I'm probably scared he's going to raid me. But what I want to do is I want to effectively take a fight in the middle while my spearmen are getting damage over here. So I don't mind losing this fight because I know that I'm getting huge value over onto that other position. At least taking like a semi-decent trade here and just getting a whole bunch of villager kills. Because, you know, I'm just going to be able to rebuild all these spearmen. It's totally fine. And he's losing quite a bit over here and focusing on the raid. And this is something that I've noticed, and in my own gameplay that I fall victim to. I'm pretty sure everyone falls victim to this tactic. It's really, really strong. A very small split off. Take a not a terrible fight, but a suboptimal fight. And your opponent is going to be staring at that going, yes, 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 yes. And you're going to be going, this isn't as good as you think for yourself. Now, maybe I could have just retreated away from it and not actually taken the full fight. But yeah. Nonetheless, my Wadgets there get most of the centaurs cleaned up. I've got a Migdol on the front. And we're good to go. Need a couple more barracks down. Another monument would not go astray on that forward position either. And a whole bunch more farms need to come up to afford everything. But a little bit of turmoil now after I lose all of those units. This is obviously not ideal. But I'm not, like, super unhappy here after losing that fight. I'm like, I got heavy spearmen. I didn't really lose any villages. I'm at 76 villages. He's probably at like 60 at the moment. So yeah, I'm very, I would say I'm happy here, so to speak. He's going to try and get some raids on my stuff, and I just want to get him out of there and slowly start taking more of the map. One other idea here, I've seen that town center on the right. Technically speaking, that town center is Kimo's. But I'm going to be able to actually grab that one, given the way that the map is moving here. I am making some chariot archers at the moment as well, just to spend the wood. These are a little bit of a waste here. I probably just need to... I probably should just take the villagers off of wood and be making spearmen against this unit comp. Nonetheless... At this point, it's really just about getting this map control and not losing it. I get some... These Scorpion men will do absolute work here. So he's got to be very, very scared of those. He does get some nice damage done with the rain of arrows, but I haven't really got my priests out to heal myself up or anything. Gonna drop ancestors to make sure that I secure this position. I really don't rate ancestors anymore. Like, it was an insane god power. I don't even think it was ever really truly insane in Retold. With Ancestors Eclipse, however, you know, it's okay. But realistically, the god power by itself is arguably one of the worst heroic age god powers in the game. Like, I'm not sure which one I would probably like. Trader, maybe even Trader's better. I don't know. But nonetheless, I think this god power is mostly just there as a bit of a get out of my face factor. Like, defensively use it and then run off and get economic advantage. It's not good for a timing attack or anything. It doesn't really add enough help to, it's not like bronze or flaming weapons, right? Those things are insane. So I'm not unhappy about using it. And I do get some value over here with it nonetheless, getting some villager kills. But now we're on 4 town centers. I got my farm set up, lots of villagers on food. I got a good amount of barracks in. Probably could do with more. Good amount of gold income. The 4th town center is still coming up. I've got the gold mine secured. My wall situation could probably start to get just a little bit better here. If I maybe quarter off the corner of the map here or something, it could be a good way to go. Again, I don't need this wood income. I think that making Scorpion Men still here is a good idea. And if I did go for Sekhmet, just continue to make Wadgets. In fact, probably Wadgets here are better than the Scorpion Men, arguably. Arguably. Like, Wadgets are going to kill off those Centaur and the Scorpion Men just isn't. So, not the best idea. Leather frame shield here is going to be a big help. Getting some more upgrades would be a big help, but yeah, he's still just trying to push in, and I've got enough stuff here to defend. So after all of the chaos of that fight, I managed to stay collected in this situation. I feel like I did throw a little bit by taking, like, I know I kind of tried to justify it, but by taking that fight earlier when I got the raid on his wood line, I did not need to fully take it. That's where I think he probably had an opportunity to come back from all of his... All of the mistakes he made earlier was me throwing that army. But yeah, so maybe next time when I do that, I'll poke and disengage a little bit and try and not lose all my units or something as an idea. But I see he's on the gold, and I mean the game's still kind of close here. I can still throw this one, so I do have to be a little bit careful. But I'm at full pop. He's going to have bronze. I will just literally just retreat away. I don't care. I mean, I can take a fight to some degree, but I really... One thing I think I'm making a big mistake in is just hanging out inside of the special ability for a little bit too long here of the Centaur. If he shoots that special ability, I should just pull back. But underneath Migdol Stronghold and everything with all my units, I just don't think that he's going to be able to do much. I'm going to try and get Horus here as well. This is probably... Yeah, it is a mistake. I'm going to build Spearmen instead. Need to get my population back, otherwise I'm going to... I will lose. So that's somewhat important. I have all my 4 monuments finally in this game, so now I can really get myself upgrades in. And once I get Horus in, Spearman upgrade, and everything, he really is going to be needing to move off of those Centaur and Hippias and start making infantry units. And I'm already set up to deal with the infantry units with all my chariot archers. So we're really, really good. Another thing here, if I went Sekhmet, my chariot archers would be obviously better, but I'd also be able to get Force of the West Wind for this exact moment right now, which would be sieging that forward fortress. I think Force of the West Wind is another huge technology for Sekhmet, which probably went a little bit underutilized early days before Sekhmet got buffed, but you know, Sekhmet, or before Citadel got buffed, I should say. But with the Citadel buff coming in, not last patch, but the patch before, I think, players are slowly starting to catch on to how good having a catapult is in the Heroic Age, especially with the Mythic Age nerf as well. But now we can continue to put pressure, continue to spam units, get walls up all across the map here. I don't have that 3rd town center secured, but I don't think he can afford it. I got my priest out now to deal with finally to deal with the Centaur. He's got so much value out of them, but again, they're expensive. Like, what are they, like 12 favor, 200 resources or something, 180 wood? I can't exactly remember, but they're expensive. They are very, very expensive. So he has to get a lot of value out of them, and I feel like he did. But even though he did, I got more value getting villager kills. So realistically, that's what mattered. Siege Tower's coming out here to take down the fortress and clean up that gold mine. I'm not sure it'll be a gold starve. I imagine he's probably got another gold mine behind his town center. But if he loses this position, I get 5 to 2 town centers on this map. It's Megalopolis. It's a weird town center situation here. So securing the center of the map generally means you're going to have the advantage. One thing I'm a little bit concerned about is Earthquake. So I've got fortified town centers, architects already in. So if he does go through Artemis here, I'll be able to deal with that. But yeah, getting the walls finished on that side to just control a trade route from the top right corner all the way to my bottom town center is going to be really, really strong. He's still going in with those centaur. They're still getting a lot of good value in. Kimo are always controlling those very, very nicely. But in the end, managed to find a win here against Kimo. One of my rare wins, so I want to eco post a little bit. But yeah, this was a well played game, with the exception of the chaos that kind of happened from me losing all my army while going for a raid. So next time it's going to be, when I look at to do those sort of moves, firstly run away from the splash damage or the pierce damage from the rain of arrows, and then engage. Because I think that's where that all went wrong. Because it should have been a better trade for me, realistically speaking. And while that's all going on, kill off the villagers in his main base, and that's fine. Anyways, we'll move into the next game. All right, moving into the next one here. This is a Hades versus Set game. Lots of Set. Yeah, Kimo's been playing a ton of Set lately, so I did manage to play against Set quite a bit and play as Set quite a bit. Doesn't really say much about anything other than this is just the god that he's wanting to practice at the moment. For me, it's just the gods that I rolled when playing Kimo and felt like I did decently enough with. But this game, I get Hades and I'm playing against Set, so I've got a couple of ideas here to sort of deal with what Kimo is going to go for. Now, one thing that I know with Kimo is that I hate to say it, but for a top player, his build orders are suboptimal at best. If he played with a little bit more efficiency early game, he would definitely have more success against the upper end of player, but he's obviously third in the world, even with all of that. So that's kind of crazy to say. His ability to play in suboptimal positions is, I think that's better than most players, if not everyone. He's probably the best at doing it, I would say. But nonetheless, I know that he's got a little bit of... He's a little bit slow to get going, so to speak. So I'm going to try and punish this by getting onto his stuff nice and early. And delaying my stuff as well to try and find the advantage there. Now, one thing to be a little bit worried of in this matchup is your far second town center can get shifting sands onto. I don't want to be dealing with that at all. So need to effectively scout, see what he's doing, and then react to it. So is he going for a far second town center? Is he going for a shifting sands attack to deny my own town center? Should I go for a village center? Should I go for the top town center or not? I see that top one there. I'm seeing gazelle. I'm seeing rhinos. I see a gold mine. I actually think there might even be another gold mine behind that one at the top side. So if that's the town center I've already decided that I want to go for, something to have in the back of your mind when you're making these sort of decisions in games, to make sure you make those decisions nice and early so you don't have to think about it later. But yeah, that's what we're going to go for. Also going for this Vault of Erebus build. I've had these sort of chats with some people about this, and there's two sort of versions. There's the version that tries to get the Vault of Erebus out as fast as possible, and there's a version that tries to get, the version that I'm doing here, which effectively tries to get an advance time that's nice. I'm going for a 4-minute advance here. I'm going to get my upgrade as well relatively quickly, but it's not ridiculously quickly. I think it's probably about 30 to 40 seconds behind what's standard. I don't like putting this many villagers onto favor in the slightest here. But again, this isn't about resources. This is something that I'm trying to get through to most people quite a bit. That I don't think that build orders are about how many resources I can get. It's about what position can I get in a game. Can I get myself my heroes out and my Minotaur on my opponent's second town center at a point? Can I get my second town center as fast as I possibly can? Or not even as fast as I possibly can, but can I get my far second town center up without it getting denied or taking damage? Those are the sorts of things that I think are really important in a build order. Now, if you're going to be playing a one town center build, and not going for a second town center and not going for early pressure, but going for something else, going for more of a timing attack sort of style of Hades, then sure, later advance time, faster Vaults of Erebus, that's the way to go. I see he's got a little cheeky animal here. I just want to snipe that off, get him out of my base. And I also have scouted his gold mine. So in the back of my mind, I'm going, okay, there's 2 town centers he can go for. There's the town center that's close to his gold mine with a gold mine behind it. That's the one I would pick. Or there's the gold mine on the other side. Now, I am trying my best to see where his villages are. I see no villages on the chickens. I see no villages on the bottom side. Every part of this right now is telling me he is going to be going for the town center on the top side. Now, he might not go for a town center. If he does, then oh well. You can see he's gone for a 445 advance. And like I said, Kimo, he does some weird stuff with these builds. I see his villages here. I'm going to get huge amounts of damage with the Minotaur. Need to not overchase here. I know that there's a Wadget going to be coming, but I chase anyways because that's what I do. And I'm going to take a ton of damage for it. And then my heroes can come in and I can deny while getting my own town center up. So this is the whole idea. I could have just gone for my own town center, not got my heroes out and been fine. But this here is going to be really, really nice for me. And I'm going to be able to get some villager kills and deny town center. Or he has to use Shifting Sands. So now I know he's on the other side effectively here. There's nowhere else. He could potentially be taking my town center on the other side of the map, but I know he's pretty much on the other side there, having taken that, so I'm safe to go and grab the forward food and move forward here. So we're both going to get a town center up at roughly the same time. I denied him Shifting Sands onto my town center, and we're basically equal here. And this is what I feel like is a really, really good opener from me, and I would say he's feeling a little bit like, bugger, this isn't the best situation for me to be in, for Kimo to be in. So, feeling great. Next move here is, okay, what can he realistically do? He could go for a classical fight at this point. I don't want to deal with that. If he goes for a classical fight, I'm just going to retreat back, and we're just going to defend and get Heroic Age and then curse, and we're going to be okay. So, the defense against the classical fight is fast Heroic here. And also getting walls down. So I just want to... the next thing you could potentially do is a fast heroic. So again, if he was fast heroic, the thing I'm scared about is going to be chariot archers. So I am going to get walls up in case that happens. I see him going for the barracks, and I say, great. Same reaction. Something weird happened there. But try not to do that. But yeah, so I'm basically just scared of... So I know his black barracks are coming, but even so, I'm scared of fast heroic, and walls are going to be able to deny those spearman raids at the top, where my villagers are sort of open in the open. In my main base, I got nothing in the open here. It's all very defended, very, very happy here, but I still want to get more walls in and make sure he can't sneak into my base. And with the chariot archers as well, I see him going for his own walls to defend himself. This is really important to be active with your heroes and be denying this sort of stuff. Top players are very greedy with these walls, in my estimation. I feel like this is something that everyone does, and everyone does very, very well. And if you can catch them out, you get a villager kill. So just be on the lookout for it is something that's important. And we get a decent heroic age here. And we need to sort of figure out how we're going to move forward in this game. So, yeah, I see the barracks. So, military academy, archery range here makes sense. And he's going to take this forward town center, which means he's not going to the heroic age. And I've got to go, all right, well, what do I do here? How do I beat this? This is something that I haven't seen before. And I'm going to go, okay, so let's think about the ideas I've got. So, I've already clicked up to the heroic age. What do I unlock in the heroic age? Well, I unlock Peltast. I unlock Pacifist. I unlock a fortress. What works well with a fortress? Well, sentinels. And how do I kill off this town center? Siege. So I'm going to drop a fortress and put sentinels on top of it. I think this is the best way to use sentinels. If you are, I think if you're playing against Hades, or if you are a Hades player, having to use sentinels on your town center is not good. This is not what you want. You want to be using your sentinels offensively. So a fortress in an offensive place and a sentinel's getting dropped down seems to me to be the best usage of this god power. I've also got Curse here. I know he dropped another town center. I know it's 9 minutes into the game. He could technically have like 20 military units up or something like that, but yeah, I'm taking a bit of a risk putting this. Yeah, a little bit of a risk putting this town center up, and I see a relic over there that's going to be really good for me, so I'm going to go grab that. And as I said, I got Curse, so no problems there. And with this fortress up, sentinels up, we're going to be able to start sieging the Ford town center, which is something that I want to get that off him as fast as I possibly can. Okay, so sentinels come down, and we start a Petropolis. This is actually something that, as a bit of a history lesson, there was this build that I can't remember who did it. Someone did it way back in the day, and I was like, wow, this is insane. It was like a 6-minute heroic age or something from Poseidon or Hades. I can't remember which, but it had Curse in it, so you couldn't even do anything to stop it. He would run forward, drop a fortress in your face, and then get Petropolis sieging. And as an Egyptian player, you would just kind of die. Not that it was very... I don't think it was very good, but it was like a surprise. And sometimes a surprise is more all that you need. But yeah, I really rate getting out these Petropoli now in the heroic age and doing some stuff, especially when your opponent's kind of one age behind you. They can't really push in and do anything. Egyptians' siege tower is not going to be really able to help here. I see the monument. I want to kill that because that's going to really slow him down a bit as well. And then I'll go after the town center. So yeah, we're also going to try and not lose these Petropolis ever. And the next part here that I see is, okay, if he's going to go for a whole bunch of barracks units, which it looks like he's going for, he's got a lot of barracks up, he's still in the classical age. One unit here that's going to really make that very challenging for him to get a value from is a bunch of Nemean lines. Like all the low HP kind of small units are going to box up nicely for the raw to do something. And I'm going to be in a good spot. Okay, so I looked to Curse there. I think I made a good decision here not to Curse. Retreat back and then Curse on under this position. Because if I can make that happen, it's going to be really good. So I do decide to drop that, and I want those pigs in my main base anyways. They are very, very, very useful. I'm trying to grab the rest of those pigs on the front there, but they aren't coming in. Please, pigs, come. I think I left them there in the center of the map. Whoops. But anyways, we got golden apples now as well. Oh, pigs, pigs, pigs. Okay, I must. My brain is just like, no, who needs those pigs? But yeah, with these pigs as well, I can delay my farms just a little bit more. That's going to be really nice. I killed his town center. I got a really strong army here. By all metrics, this position here is really, really good for me. So I don't actually have to do anything here. This is probably the lesson, the biggest lesson or takeaway from playing Hades versus Set, or Hades versus Egyptian even, is if you get an advantage, just sit on it. And what do I mean by that? I mean, get yourself upgrades. Get yourself economic upgrades, get yourself military upgrades, get yourself army upgrades. You just win. If you're in the advantage, if you're in the like hot seat, so to speak, if you've like got the like value already in the game this early in, I don't think you should have the value this early in against an Egyptian who's playing it like really, really well. But if you do, just take the advantage. Grab the position. That's all you have to do. And then get heroic age, get mythic age, and you're good to go. Now my plan here, however, is, well, I've got an advantage. Let me try and make more of this advantage. So I put a fortress down on this front, which is a pretty good idea. I'm going to try and siege his back town center here. I've got these Petropoli. I'm a little bit short on the next sentinels. I'd love to drop that down on this position as well. But this is a very expensive way to continue in this game. Whereas I could have just taken the town center or just gone mythic age here instead. Probably mythic age would have been the better idea. But fortress up. And we're going to try and get the town center, I think. I think this is probably a mistake. I don't think I need this town center here. I think getting the farms down and maybe getting a market up and just buying some food here for the Mythic Age makes a lot more sense, especially with me having 4 Nemean Lions out. Also getting that Roar of Orthus technology is going to be good. Continue to take out his buildings, sieging him and making him have to do something. I know that he's full barracks units. I know that he's probably close to 100 villages here. He's on 3 town centers most likely. Or he's been on 4 town centers because he's still in the Classical Age. Now he hits the Heroic Age, so there's that. And look, it looks like I'm just going to go for 4 town centers. Maybe this is not a bad play. Maybe it's a good play. I don't know. To be honest, I do think that just the solution here for Greek and for Hades is if I get Mythic Age, I'm going to be in a good spot. We take a fight here. I make a bit of a mistake here on my lions and trying to... I get a nice amount of stunnies. I killed off a lot of units here, but I could have killed them. I could have killed off every single unit if I did that correctly. The way to use the Nemean Lions, especially when you have Nemean Rex, is to turn them onto autocast. And then, one by one, turn the autocast back on during the fight. As you can see, I do that here, and I try to move forward, but now he's got all the priests out, and I need to respect this. Restoration right now would be gigantic, but this is me making a mistake. I find myself here. I feel like I've got a good chance to do something at this moment, but I absolutely botched that micro on the Nemean Lions, and this is where the chaos starts to happen against Kimo, and I'm like, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. All right, let's run and try and survive here. I'm full archers against him at the moment. I zom again on my town center. I don't mind that zom, and I got a bunch of idle villages, and I'm gonna say, all right, let's put a town center down here as well. So this is a lot of mistakes, I would say, in that moment, and I definitely just threw my position in somewhat of a big way. I did not need to do any of that. Now, with those priests in his army, I don't have any myth units for the time being, so at least they're going to be a little bit useless for the moment, as I'm going to try and put some more fortresses up. And one thing that I did not take into account at this moment is he's got Sekhmet. And while he can make scarabs, I'm not scared of the scarabs. I am scared, however, of what? Catapult. Like I was saying in the last game, Force of the West Wind is just really, really good. And I imagine he's already going to be getting that. I drop Restoration. That Restoration does nothing. The more I play this matchup, the more I feel like Ares is just a better call. You're basically just going to be making archers anyways. And if you're not going to be making the archers, you're going to be making Prodromus, is my current guess on the whole thing. A little bit of micro on that Toxoid to try and dodge those slingers. This is probably one of my most favorite things to do at the moment, is to just wiggle get a high value unit at the front against counter archers or against actual archers, and then just start wiggling them back and forth. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, Kimo now, I mean, he's got... this is just what Kimo does so well. I don't even have the infrastructure up to support my spammage on this amount of buildings here. You can see these units on the wood here are looking very silly as well. But you can see I finally say, all right, let's go next stage. But we've got Mass Peltast. Oh, another Sentinels. Sentinels are really good, man. These things are insane. He's got a ton of priests, so no sense in making the Nemean Lions for the moment, but he's trying to attack forward, and I'm trying to deal with all of this slinger shenanigans. Peltas do beat slingers. They beat slingers for the entirety of Retold's existence, and they will probably beat slingers for every little bit longer. There's not a technology. The only way that the slinger could potentially beat a Peltas is if you got access to a whole bunch more counter archer bonus damage somewhere along the lines, but we'll see if that will ever happen. But this just means that the Peltas are really, really good here, and they also, technically speaking, beat the Axeman as well. When you have this many, it's really, really strong. And here's the catapults. And like I said, I did not play around this. There is a way to beat the catapult. If you micro, you can actually dodge the catapult bullet and kill off a catapult. Now, obviously, the catapult can also dodge your bullet if both players are microing really well. Neither siege unit should actually die, but yeah, this is the next stage for the catapult sort of warfare. The catapult does have the big advantage. Petropolis gets 1 hit. The catapult gets, I think it's like 2 hit from the Petropolis. It might be 3 hit. I'm not sure, but yeah, some interesting micro to happen in further parts down Age of Mythology's in Age of Mythology's future. But now we see Mercenary coming through, and like I said, I'm literally just losing here. Like, I'm in a good spot still. Like, I'm not in a bad position. But Kimo is managing to get me to play this game in a very, very silly way. And he is pushing forward, and he is killing all of my stuff. And I'm like, dude, how do I manage to find myself in these positions over and over and over and over and over against Kemo? Why can't I just play one clean game against this guy? And I've already explained how I could have played this game more clean, but alas, retreating back. And now I'm in the Mythic Age, and the technology that I want first and most of all, which I realized after I tried to go for my technologies into the Chimera, I was like, Chimera will do really good against the Slingers, so I'll get those out. But realistically, the unit you want, or the upgrade you want here, first is going to be Shafts of Plague. This technology, kind of like Electron Bullets, is absolutely insane. It affects the Toxotes and the Peltast, and they both get 1.25 divine damage a second, which effectively means that they're going to be able to kill Siege, they're going to be able to kill Myth unit, they're going to be able to kill enemy units really, really easily. And this is where Greek comes into a gigantic advantage. And you can say, I don't even care about the fact that my archers aren't doing damage to the Siege here. They can literally just kill the Siege off in a very short amount of time. But now I've got Shafts of the Plague. I can start pushing forward. Now, I guess the things that I'm scared about here is I haven't got a trade route set up. I'm going to be running out of gold mines soon. I think if Kimo played this one nicely, if he just pushed down to the bottom position and set up a whole bunch of Migdols down there, I would have actually found myself in a load of trouble. I got this Earthquake. I'm not really sure what to use it on at the moment. I'm holding on to it for some reason, but I'm genuinely not sure what to use it on. Do I use it on the main base? Do I just wait with it, hold it for later? It's not really anything significant for me to get here with it. Like, using it on the main base, killing off a bunch of houses, it's probably going to be nice, but I'm still not... he's just going to rebuild it. Using it on a town center on the right-hand corner. He's got Citadel, probably fortified town centers, and probably Masons, if not Architects at the moment. I'm not 100% sure what he's got. But, yeah. I'm going to run in here and try and just kill off everything. I saw that for a second there, and I think I looked at it and was like, yeah, that's not going down. Earthquake does like 4,400 crush damage. Your opponent's town center's got 5,040 HP. It's not going down. So, yeah, a bit of a waste of an Earthquake in hindsight. I'm still not sure where would have been a good idea to use it. Probably just holding on to it, to be honest, for later when your opponent spams a whole bunch of towers somewhere, I guess. I see he's got a trade route, so I go, okay, well, I can just go and sit on that. Go and claim my position back again in the middle. Start a trade route myself. But I finally managed to survive my own mistakes in this game and kind of deal with the chaos coming my way. Like, finding myself losing a game and just saying, no, it's fine. We're just going to pull back and lose that position. And yeah. Lots more better decisions to be made here in this one, though. tornado to come through. I misclick on which way to go. I'm not sure if you're supposed to go right or left. I know that the town center goes in a counterclockwise pattern. So I guess that means you've got to go left every time when it gets clicked. But even so, I went right and it didn't work. So left is the way to go. And you're not going to lose that many units. But he does kill off a bunch there, which means I have to pull back yet again. This is the secret to dealing with the big power spikes in Myth is if you lose a whole bunch of units, just run away. And Kimo's going to try and make a push here. I'm surprised to see him making siege towers when he's got access to catapults here. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I think if he had catapults, he probably gets the town center down. But nonetheless, my army comp here of Toxote, Peltast, and Hoplite makes a lot of sense. You've got the Hoplites to kill off the Axemen. You've got the Peltast to kill off the Slingers. The Hoplites there just to tank. He does have Slings of the Sun, which is obviously very, very good. But I'm really not sure what else to build here. Like, obviously, you look at this and go, from the outside perspective, you might say, why aren't you building cavalry? And I say, well, cavalry for Hades just aren't very good. They just aren't. The only cavalry unit that I think is usable is the Prodromus, and that's with Phobos' Spear of Panic. If you get Phobos' Spear of Panic, Prodromus, yeah, those are good. But I went Athena here. Like I said, maybe Athena's not the right call. It did give me a lot of value early on, but I think I can get that value with the Cyclops even more than the Minotaur. So the more I play this matchup, the more I'm like, yeah, it's probably an Ares angle. More and more I play it. And also because I'm going to be making a whole bunch of archers anyways, my Toxotes are going to get stronger from Bow of Horror. Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to have to try it out next time I play Hades against Egyptian and try and play a good game with it, and we'll see what happens. But nonetheless, managed to hold my position here, managed to push in and hit his trade route. Kimo doesn't like resigning, but he is probably very low on population here and trying to find his way back in. But at this point, I'm fairly comfortable that even with my own terrible decision-making, I'm going to be okay in this game. Nonetheless, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. Put a lot of effort into it, and maybe you learned something. Maybe I think I learned quite a bit from watching this as well, so that's going to be nice. If you want to see more of this type of video, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next game.